Please, yes, go ahead, please.
Marissa Atmas here with CBS News Texas. Several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time, and they also say that people could have been saved. What do you say to those families?
Well, I think everyone did an incredible job under the circumstances. This was, I guess Christie said, a 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000 years. And I just have admiration for the job that everybody did. There was just admiration. Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. I think this has been heroism. This has been incredible, really, the job you've all done. It's easy to sit back and say, oh, what could have happened here or there, you know. Maybe we could have done something differently. This was a thing that has never happened before. Nobody's ever seen anything. I've never seen anything like this. I've gone to some real bad ones. I've never seen anything like this. So I admire you, and I consider you heroes and heroine. And I think you've done an amazing job.
We're continuing to follow the desperate search in Texas. Last hour, officials said at least 119 people have died and even more remain missing. In New Mexico, residents experienced similar panic during record-breaking, that's what they called it, floodwaters. That was yesterday. A River 3 surged from less than 2 feet to more than 20 in less than an hour. At least 3 people were killed. Nearly 100 people were rescued.
A really big flood just came, like a wall of flood. It came and it started going through, and that's when I started recording, because it got so wild so quickly.
In central North Carolina, another, quote, once in a 100-year flood. In Chicago, a, quote, 1 in 1,000-year rain event. That's all just this week. Joining me now to try to make sense of this and more is Bill Nye, the science guy. Thanks for being here.
It's good to be here. I'm sorry. I really am sorry for all the trouble.
It's terrible. And so just that last part of what we were describing, you keep hearing once in a lifetime, once in 100 years, once in 1,000 years. At this point, it's not anymore. It's just where we are with the climate and the environment.
Oh, that's, as we like to say, our side of it, the science side of it. This is exactly what was predicted. It's very difficult to tie any one weather event to climate change. However, the warm weather events are actually easier to tie to climate change. And so the other problem that happened in the hill country in Texas is this business of the Balcony escarpment, where the air mass got lifted. So it spread out and the rain came down even faster. But it'll happen again, to your point. And everybody's talked about this for years. And the technologies for warning systems exist. You know, where people have tidal or tsunami events, these sort of warning systems can be put up, but you got to get to higher ground very quickly. And the point that I believe was being made in the video a moment ago was the mass of the water. A 20-foot high mass of water in a half hour is you can't just float your way out of it. It knocks everything over. Everybody knows you pick up a bucket of water, you know how heavy it is, and you get a lot of water going that fast. So. What are we going to do about it is the ancient question, and it would be to stop burning fossil fuels. When you're in a hole, stop digging, and so on. But the fossil fuel industry has been very successful in getting organizations like the U.S. Congress to think that it's really not happening.
Roger Williams is the chair of the House Small Business Committee and a member of the House Financial Services Committee, joining us now. Congressman, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming on here. Obviously, search and recovery continues this hour. The numbers continue to grow. If we take a live look here in Kerrville, Texas, and Kirk County specifically, that was hardest hit. You know, it's not just that. It is the destruction and devastation in this area that will take so long to rebuild. Obviously, they have to clear certain passages where people can't even get through at some areas. Obviously, people losing businesses, which you well know. Can you talk to us and give us an update on perhaps what you're hearing out of this area?
Well, it's a disaster like we've never seen before in Texas. I think people are seeing that Texas can react immediately and compassionately. But, you know, there's still a threat of rain. We still have all these folks we have not been able to recover. But volunteers like you've never seen before, from ladies making sandwiches to whatever, you know, even to money and that sort of thing. So the things are getting done. I think Governor Abbott's done a fantastic job in leading. We know President Trump has come in here and offered the federal assistance in any way we need it. But right now, it's still search and rescue. We want to find everybody that we can find. And that's where we are. And again, the weather may not work with us, but that's Texas, and we got Texas doing great things, and that's why Texas is, I think, such a great state.
And our prayers are with all of Texas.
Yeah.
That can be powerful, and that's something we can all do, sending, of course, your way
right.
and your constituents' way. Congressman, unfortunately, as you well know, this has become politicized. This event, this natural disaster we have seen take place. And everyone's trying to point fingers at the current Trump administration. I want to show you this clip, and then we'll get your thoughts. Here's that.
Well, Donald Trump proved once again today, beyond a reasonable doubt, that he does not know what he is doing. Donald Trump wanted to get rid of FEMA and now refuses to say if he wants to get rid of FEMA because now they're busy working. Those are the words of someone who does not know what he's doing as president of the United States. FEMA has been a bipartisan success and enjoyed bipartisan support until Donald Trump decided to get rid of it because Elon Musk told him way back when they were still pretending to be friends.
So that's Lawrence O'Donnell over at MSNBC. Congressman, your thoughts when you hear that?
Yeah, this guy's a nut, okay? And let me tell you, these left-wing liberals that want to make this political and blame this storm on Donald Trump for crying out loud, this is an act of God like we've never seen before. I would say to these people, where's your heart, where's your soul when it comes to thinking? Not one time did O'Donnell even mention victims or the families or whatever. It's all about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's doing a great job. So I'm tired of hearing from these people. Like I said, where's their heart, where's their soul? Why don't they write a nice letter to somebody? Why don't they get on there and say, we're going to pray for these people? Let's hold hands and do that.
Yeah,
but we don't see that. And that's where they are. That's a good example of where the left is today.
Yeah, that's really all you can do. Again, just pray for these people. I mean, you know, praising FEMA, it's one thing to criticize the president. Praising FEMA, he must forget about 20 years ago and Hurricane Katrina and the failed response from FEMA on that level. And again, not necessarily getting rid of it, but if you just listen to what the president said, they're passing the money to the states because the states and local municipalities know how to spend that money, know their resources, know the lay of the land, especially hill country. Better than someone with a federal response that doesn't even live in that area. Congressman Roger Williams joining us from Texas. Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Victor, for having me on today. And I have to say, I'm a Biden administration appointee, and I served in the Obama administration at NOAA. And I agree 100% with Senator Markey. This is hallucination. Republican policy decisions are reckless and are leading to tragic and preventable deaths. Innocent lives were lost here. These people who were in harm's way during this storm were failed at various levels in the emergency management system. And I think we're going to find that without trying to lay blame on any one person. I think we know that our system isn't up to the task of climate change. And unfortunately, the president continues to call climate change a hoax. And members of his administration have downplayed or dismissed the notion that these storms are getting more and more deadly. And to hone in on the new NOAA administrator nominee, I think the challenge is that in the past, he served in NOAA during the Hurricane Dorian episode when the president drew on that hurricane map and tried to persuade people that the storm was going in a different direction than it actually was. And Neil Jacobs backed the president then, and I suspect I'm fairly certain he will back the president on cuts to NOAA and to FEMA. And this is just tragic. Our divisiveness in our country is leading to deaths. And it's clear that the people in Kerr County didn't want the disaster assistance that the Biden administration made available to them. And when they finally took it, they didn't use it to put important storm preparedness measures in place. And as a result, here we are looking for people who tragically died in a storm in which they could have been warned and they could have been out of harm's way.
This courtroom session, presided over by Judge Madress, unfolded as a measured yet emotionally nuanced hearing that reflected the complexity of balancing legal facts with human circumstances. That's deflection. Judge Madress displayed a consistent commitment to procedural fairness, But her demeanor was composed and firm, with a clear focus on managing the courtroom effectively, while allowing both sides the opportunity to voice their concerns.
Emergency systems.
Notably, she remained. This courtroom session, presided over by Judge Madress,
The floodwaters
unfolded
didn't just
as a
come out of
measured
nowhere.
yet emotionally
Scientists
nuanced
have warned
hearing
us for
that reflected
decades
the
that a hotter
complexity of
atmosphere
balancing
holds more
legal
moisture,
facts
which
with
means
human
heavier
circumstances.
rain, more flash flooding,
Judge Madress
and more
displayed a
destruction.
consistent
In 1 week
commitment
alone,
to
we
procedural
saw what
fairness.
used to be called
Her demeanor was
1-in-1,000-year
composed
events
and
in
firm,
Chicago,
with a
North
clear
Carolina,
focus on
New
managing the
Mexico,
courtroom
and now
effectively,
Texas.
while
But
allowing
somehow,
both sides
the
the
GOP
opportunity
still
to
claims
voice
these are
their concerns.
coincidences, just
Notably,
acts of
she
God.
remained. This
Give me a
courtroom
break.
session,
Trump
presided
slashed
over by
funding for
Judge
NOAA.
Madress,
He undermined
unfolded as
FEMA.
a measured
He
yet
rolled back
emotionally
climate protections
nuanced
because
hearing
it
that
scored him
reflected
points
the
with oil
complexity
billionaires
of
and
balancing
far-right
legal
pundits.
facts
And
with
now he
human
wants applause for
circumstances.
visiting Texas
Judge
and saying the
Madress
responders
displayed
did a
a
great
consistent
job.
commitment
This is the
to
same man
procedural
who wanted
fairness.
to eliminate
Her
FEMA.
demeanor was
The same
composed
man
and
who used a
firm,
Sharpie
with
to
a
lie
clear
about a
focus on
hurricane's
managing
path,
the courtroom
just to protect his
effectively,
ego.
while
And
allowing
now
both
he's telling us
sides the
not to question
opportunity to
anything
voice their
because it's
concerns.
never happened before.
Notably, she remained.
No act
This
never
courtroom
happened
session,
before is this
presided
level
over
of
by
willful
Judge
ignorance
Madress,
while people die.
unfolded as a
And the
measured
damage
yet
isn't just
emotionally
physical.
nuanced hearing
It's political,
that reflected the
because when a
complexity
president
of
turns
balancing
science
legal
into a
facts
partisan
with
issue,
human
when
circumstances.
asking for accountability
Judge
is branded
Madress
evil,
displayed a
we lose the
consistent
ability
commitment
to
to
respond to
procedural
real
fairness.
threats.
Her
People
demeanor
died in
was
Texas
composed
who could
and
have lived
firm,
if warnings
with a
were
clear
timely,
focus
if
on
systems were
managing the
better
courtroom
funded, if
effectively,
climate policy was
while
taken
allowing both
seriously.
sides the
But the right-wing
opportunity to
response?
voice their
Pray
concerns.
and move on.
Notably, she
Congressman
remained.
Roger
This
Williams went on
courtroom
television
session,
to say we
presided
should
over
stop
by
pointing
Judge
fingers
Madress,
and hold hands
unfolded
instead.
as a
Really?
measured yet
That's your
emotionally
plan?
nuanced
People are
hearing that
literally being
reflected
swept
the
away,
complexity
and you
of
want hugs
balancing
and
legal
silence?
facts
Number?
with human
We
circumstances.
need answers. We
Judge
need
Madress
action,
displayed
and we
a
need it now.
consistent commitment
This
to
isn't about
procedural
left
fairness.
versus right.
Her
This is
demeanor
about
was
survival.
composed and
The
firm,
next storm will
with a
come.
clear
The
focus
next
on
flood will
managing
happen.
the courtroom
And if we keep
effectively,
electing people who
while
treat
allowing
climate
both
change as a
sides the
hoax
opportunity
and
to
FEMA as a
voice their
punching bag,
concerns.
the next tragedy
Notably,
will be worse.
she remained.
So
This
no,
courtroom
we're not going
session,
to unite in
presided
grief
over by
without
Judge
demanding
Madress,
change.
unfolded
We're not
as
going
a
to let
measured yet
politicians pretend
emotionally
they care while
nuanced
they gut
hearing
the
that
very
reflected
systems
the
that could have saved
complexity
lives.
of balancing
And
legal
we're not going
facts
to stay
with
quiet
human
when
circumstances.
families are burying their children
Judge Madress
because someone
displayed
didn't
a
think climate
consistent
science was
commitment
worth
to
the funding.
procedural
If you
fairness.
feel angry,
Her demeanor
you
was
should be.
composed and
If you
firm,
feel exhausted,
with a clear
that's
focus
exactly
on
what they
managing the
want.
courtroom
But if you
effectively,
feel like you're ready
while
to
allowing
speak
both
out,
sides
to
the
call this what it
opportunity
is,
to
a
voice their
man-made
concerns.
disaster made worse by
Notably,
political
she
cowardice said
remained.
than do
This
it.
courtroom
Share
session,
this.
presided
Call your
over by Judge
representatives.
Madress,
Demand
unfolded
accountability,
as a measured
because this
yet
isn't just
emotionally
about
nuanced
Texas.
hearing
It's about
that
every
reflected the
community next in
complexity
line.
of balancing
And if
legal
we don't act
facts
now,
with human
if we don't
circumstances.
start treating climate as the crisis
Judge Madress
it is,
displayed
the water
a
will rise
consistent
again,
commitment
and next
to
time,
procedural
it might
fairness.
be your town,
Her
your
demeanor was
family, your
composed
life.
and